Using your talent helps others. That is a goal for many of us, and for volunteers with the organization Project Linus, that's exactly what they get to do.
Yeah, volunteers utilize their sewing, crocheting, and knitting skills to help children who need some extra comfort. From hospitals to police cruisers, their blankets can be found in spaces all across the Commonwealth. WKYT's Alyssa Williams was able to talk with some volunteers about their mission and some recent times in which their work really impacted children.
If you've parented or cared for small kids, you know the bond a child can have with their blanket. And that's the focus of Project Linus, which provides handmade blankets to kids who are seriously ill, traumatized, or otherwise in need.
When you realize that these children will hang on to these blankets for many years, you know, it just touches you deeply. It is more than just cloth or yarn. It's an emotional attachment that they form to them.
Project Linus has been operating nationally for 30 years, but the Eastern Kentucky chapter, which serves Bath, Rowan, and Pulaski counties, has been active since 2019. Volunteer Linda Gorman got involved with the chapter in Maryland in 2011, but joined this chapter in Kentucky shortly after it began.
When my husband retired, we came here to Kentucky. And it was important that there be a Linus chapter here.
Gorman is one of several volunteers that meet monthly, but volunteer Simone Ratcliffe says they not only create blankets at these meetings, but they also involve other organizations like youth groups and recovery centers to assemble blankets too.
I don't care what kind of a day you're having, if you serve others, it lifts you.
Volunteers say a recent example of their work in action was when they partnered with law enforcement in Morgan County to provide police cruisers with some of their blankets. And when law enforcement found an 11-year-old girl from South Carolina in Morgan County, one of their blankets was able to provide her with some comfort before she was returned to her family.
Just knowing that there was one child who was touched by that blanket, whether you made it or not, encourages you to keep going, to keep making more.
Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
And those with this chapter say they are always in need of fabric, batting, and yarn donations. To find out how you can help this cause, just visit our website, WKYT.com, or find this story inside the WKYT News app.